Hey there, explorers, and welcome back. I am absolutely thrilled to be your curious local travel guide today for Part 8 of our Grand India Tour Explainer. Seriously, I hope you packed your heavy gear because today we're trekking straight into the country's most dramatic extremes. We are going to look at environments that literally push the limits of human endurance. And honestly, they're just going to leave you in awe.
Here is our route map for today. First up, welcome to extreme India. Second, coasts of carved stone. Third, life in the high passes. Fourth, the mountain ocean. And finally, the boat of the clouds.
Welcome to extreme India, a land of striking contrasts. You know, across the Indian subcontinent, extreme geography isn't just some pretty backdrop for your vacation photos. It actively dictates daily survival, ancient spirituality, and centuries of mind-blowing history. The environment here really is the ultimate architect.
To put it into perspective, this journey brilliantly illustrates the sheer chronological scale of India's extremes. We're talking deep, deep history. We are spanning from prehistoric oceans forming high mountain peaks 100 million years ago, all the way to skilled ancient artisans battling the ocean tides back in 700 AD. So we aren't just crossing geography today, we are traveling through time itself.
Section 2. Coasts of Carved Stone, Mahabalipuram, and Varkala.
Let's kick off our tour by dropping right down the sea level, starting with Mahabalipuram on the Bay of Bengal. The architectural brilliance of the shore temple here is truly something else. As an ancient port city of the Pallava dynasty, skilled artisans somehow integrated these massive granite blocks directly into the coastal rock. Think about that for a second. This intricately carved granite has been resisting the pounding ocean waves for over 1,300 years. It's incredible.
Moving across to the state of Kerala on the Arabian Sea, we hit the number 15. That is 15 meters, or roughly 49 feet. That's the sheer, dizzying height of Varkala's stunning red cliffs. It's a super rare coastal formation where the mountains drop directly into the Arabian Sea, meaning there's almost no flat beach in between.
So how do people actually live on this edge? Well, the local fishermen perfectly adapt to the ocean's temperament. They head out right at dawn in these traditional vallone boats, and then they return to sell their fresh catch directly on the beach. Locals take that catch and pair it with foraged coastal ingredients, like native coconut and tamarind, to whip up these incredibly rich, seasonal seafood curries. Throw in the ancient lighthouses that have been guiding maritime trade routes for centuries, and you've got a vibrant community intimately tied to the rhythm of the sea.
But hey, as your guide, I've got to give you a vital travel tip. Dramatic seasonal tides absolutely dictate everything here. During the monsoon season, massive waves completely empty out those beaches. If you actually want to bathe in the warm ocean water safely, you definitely want to plan your trip between November and April when the sea finally calms down.
Section 3. Life in the high passes, Manali to Ladakh.
All right, let's drastically shift our altitude. We're climbing way up into the clouds toward the mountain passages that separate the lush Manali Valley from the stark plateaus of Ladakh. And to get there, we hit 51. Yeah. That is the dizzying number of hairpin turns you have to navigate on the spectacular road up to Rohtang Pass. For centuries, this treacherous route, where snow is often present year-round, has served as a crucial historic bridge for merchants moving goods back and forth into Tibet. Once you make it through those passes, the local adaptations are just amazing. Down in Manali, you'll find 500-year-old wood temples echoing with ancient local legends, sitting right alongside roaring waterfalls and natural sulfur thermal springs. The locals are deeply connected to this rugged environment. They rely heavily on mountain agriculture, and nomadic shepherds expertly guide their flocks along traditional transhumance routes, moving livestock seasonally between summer and winter pastures. And to sustain themselves, they forage seasonal ingredients right from the landscape, things like wild mountain garlic, sea buckthorn, and fiddlehead ferns.
Section 4. The mountain ocean, Spiti Valley.
We are journeying even higher now into the Spiti Valley, an extreme landscape carved out by incredibly deep river gorges, and it hides a massive, mind-bending secret. It's a staggering contrast, an ancient ocean floor sitting way up high in a modern desert. Get this, perched across these rocks at over 13,000 feet, you can literally find marine fossils from 100 million years ago. These towering Himalayan peaks were actually an ancient seabed. Talk about a crazy shift from the active coastal formations we were just exploring.
And perched right on a rock in this prehistoric ocean bed is the key monastery. Built over 1,000 years ago, it literally looks like a mountain fortress.
Inside, Buddhist monks quietly preserve ancient sacred texts and traditions in secluded rooms lit entirely by the flickering light of traditional butter lamps. The vibe there is just profoundly peaceful. But look, peaceful definitely doesn't mean easy. Minus 30 degrees Celsius. That's a bone-chilling minus 22 degrees Fahrenheit. These extreme polar winter temperatures completely isolate these high-altitude shepherds and their villages, some of the highest inhabited places on Earth, for a full half of the year.
Section 5. The Boat of the Clouds, Meghalaya. We are leaving that frozen isolation far behind for our final extreme destination, Meghalaya. The local name literally translates to a boat of the clouds, and the contrast is unbelievable. We just left the freezing, dry isolation of the Spiti Valley, and now we're stepping straight into a lush rainforest, completely enveloped by clouds and uninterrupted monsoon rains.
And if you want to know why it's so incredibly green here, the answer is 11,000 millimeters. That is over 430 inches of annual rainfall. This staggering amount of water transforms the landscape into one of the absolute wettest places on the entire planet.
Now, to deal with that much water, local tribes came up with this absolute game changer of a bioengineering technique. When raging monsoon rivers block their paths, they don't just build a standard bridge. They take the aerial roots of native ficus trees and slowly, intentionally intertwine them across the water to create sturdy, living suspension bridges. They don't build bridges out here, they grow them.
That relentless humidity feeds a wildly thick rainforest. We're talking rare orchids growing directly on tree bark, and vegetation so dense the sun literally struggles to reach the ground. It also creates these massive seasonal waterfalls, like the breathtaking No Kalakai Falls, which plunges nearly 1,150 feet down a sheer rocky wall right into a vibrant green pool. It's unreal. So, let's bring it all together. Over the course of this explainer, we've seen how beautifully each unique local community has adapted to their specific extreme environment. From dawn fishing in volume boats under the red cliffs, to the transhumance trade in the high mountain deserts, all the way down to growing living root bridges in the wettest rainforest on Earth.
Well, that wraps up this leg of our tour, but I've got one final question to leave you with. From carefully stepping across living root bridges in a monsoon rainforest to standing before a granite temple that has resisted the crashing tide for 1,300 years, which of India's extremes would you conquer first? Think about it, and whatever you choose, keep exploring.